Hello everyone, it's Jen Leonard, one of the Altenew educators, and it's time for another video hop featuring the October 2023 newest release. Lots of prizes to be had, so make sure you hop along. Today's card, we are going to be featuring the beautiful Hibiscus motif. And I think you're really going to love this new stamp set. The stamp set also pairs with the simple coloring stencil along with matching die cuts. And as always, Altenew gives you a wonderful layering guide so that you too can create beautiful cards. So I'm taking out my phenomenal stamp wheel, which if you have not heard by now is just amazing. And I'm matching it up with the grids that allow you to align your card properly. The Hibiscus motif is a pretty large stamp and will actually cover most of your basic A2 card size and would also be wonderful with doing multiple flowers and arranging them on a scrapbook layout, which I will absolutely have to try sometime. So once I've done my initial layering using the Obsidian black ink, it's time now to bring out the very simple stencil. It's just a one layer stencil, and taking the Red Cosmos dye ink, I'm starting with Frosty Pink just to give it a basic layer over the foundation of all of the petals. Now that little piece, I guess it's what we call a stamen, I'm taking out a ruby red and giving that a nice deep finish at the top. So now I'm going to go back in and create this shading. And I'm going in this time with coral berry. And we're going to create that depth with just the blending of our inks. Now it's time to bring this hibiscus to life, and we're going to be using the A1 and C1 stamps from this set and using, I think I chose coral berry, and then I went back in with some ruby red and I'm inking up that next layer, and it really makes a difference once you get those petals down. It pops this hibiscus to a very new level. I would recommend that you go in with something dark so that you have the contrast of your shading underneath. And I always like to stamp twice just because I want that really deep coverage, and it really does make a difference on the vividness of your flower. So now it's time to go back and do some more shading. Now we're going on the stem with the little bits of leaf buds at the bottom. Again, this is a very simple stencil set. It's a one layer. And I'm just at this point finishing off the little bits of the card, adding in the rest of the layering. As you see, I'm trying to fidget this a little bit. I noticed my fingers were getting stuck on the stickiness of the stamp, and every time I tried to move it, it would wiggle in, but eventually we got it. And here I am just getting off that last little bit. So now this is where I am putting the center of the hibiscus, and this again is you want to use nice deep colors to make this flower pop off the page. Isn't it beautiful? It really is. And then once you get the matching die cuts, you're at a whole new game. So if you can get that matching die cut, you won't be sorry. So using the stamp wheel, it's time to stamp out some leaves. And this is why I love about the stamp wheel is I can just go around. Now I'm not using this in the best form. I just was trying to get as many leaves on as possible. And now I'm going back in with that stencil, and we are getting all of our leaves shaded. The leaves also come with an additional stamp layer to bring out the dimension. Always remember to go one ink darker. The Hibiscus motif stamp set also comes with these really elaborate corners. So I am doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm getting my T-ruler, and I am going to make the perfect one-layer card, having these beautiful adorned corners, and I'm going to pop up that hibiscus right in the center. And as always, I did not stamp it correctly because I clearly have a visual impairment to straight layering. So thankfully, there are die cuts for that, which is why I said in the beginning, if you can get the matching die cut, I highly suggest it. So I was just wondering, what am I going to do with this beautiful ornate corners? Yes, I can certainly do some inking, but there's so much, black, and it's like a stained glass window. So I thought, let me get out the matching alcohol markers, and I'm going to get really fancy, and I'm going to shade each of these little areas within this frame. It took a little time, but you know what? It just got me back on track. I forgot all about that I could not layer a simple basic Stamping 101 class, and I just went ahead and did some shading. Now you could certainly have left this black and white for some contrast or just have ink blended, but again, I was at this point, I'm bringing out all my crafty guns. I'm bringing out the inks and I'm bringing out the alcohol markers. As I go along shading with my alcohol markers, please remember to hop along each of our crafters' videos, give us a thumbs up and some crafty love comments, and perhaps you can be one of the winners in Altenew's $300 in total prizes. They are giving away a $100 gift certificate to one grand prize winner and a $50 gift certificate to 4 winners. So please leave a comments on the Altenew video as well as each of the designers' YouTube videos. I am about to die cut these corners out, but this was my original intention, was to have these perfectly stamped and straight and then put my hibiscus in the middle. But then I had another creative thought, which is taking out my Diamond Squares 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to generously ink the one side with some ruby red or coral berry, I don't remember which one. And this is a wonderful technique that when you ink the one side of the embossing folder, you run it through your die cut machine. Using the embossing attachment, you get the ink transferred onto your card. Then taking out the encouraging sentiments die set, I then arranged the card, and instead of having the corners on the corners, I took 2 of the corners and arranged them top and bottom, and I added my sentiment of thank you. And even though this is not the card I originally set out to make, I was quite happy with it in the end. So again, this is why Altenew products are so great, because there are so many ways to use them. And I hope that you did learn a few things this time and know that there is more than one way to craft a card. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I look forward to crafting with you the next time. Bye-bye.